So today we are going to talk about 25 books I'm planning to read in 2025. I love filming this video. Actually, when I did this video last couple of years, no, I did not do this in 2024. I did this in 2022 and 2023, and those couple of times I included only standalones. So 20 plus standalones and 10 to 15 series I have to start. They became too much to me. I was overwhelmed and there were too many commitments. So this year I decided to include series I have to finish. There are like one or two books to finish out the series, and series I'm going to continue, and series I'm going to start and read just one or two books in the series. So this is a mix of all. There are few standalones, there are few, I think more than few starting of the series, and there is a mix of all genres, though predominantly fantasy. Fantasy is usually my go-to, so there are definitely 10 to 12 fantasy books only, but there is a good mix of everything. I am happy with this list. I'm not saying I'll not pick up anything else. There is a possibility I'll pick up something. Maybe if these are all dark or bleak, I may pick up a palette cleanser or a romance, but I am hoping at least I can pick up 10 to 15 from this list. So first in my list, actually very important book in this list, is Guards Guards by Terry Pratchett. I did not read Discworld yet, which is Alan's favorite series. No surprise to anyone, I am planning to start with City Watch, which is Alan's favorite sub-series. I will be reading Guards Guards pretty early in 2025, maybe January or February, depends on my those months TBR. I will be continuing Men at Arms. After that, I don't have any solid plan. I may include these whenever I want. And the next on my list is Curse of Chalian by Louise McMaster Bujold. This is recommended to me by Andrew D. Meredith. I think in 2023, after reading Deathless Beast, which is by Andrew D. Meredith, and we started talking, he said that I will really like this book. I don't know much about this book other than this is a character-driven story and it has lots of political intrigue. Both are buzzwords for me, so I'm totally excited for this. And the next book on this list is Way of Iran by Philip Chase. Alan narrated this audiobook, which is actually brilliant. I started this immediately after the release of the audiobook to support Alan and of course Philip, but I have so many other commitments, and this I wasn't buddy reading with anyone and there was no commitment for this, so I paused it, but I will definitely pick it up early 2025 in January or February, in those 2 months. The fourth book in this list is City of Last Chances by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I missed picking this series when the first book, City of Last Chances, came out. All my friends, Alan, Evie, Pete, loves this. They are on third book now. Third book came out, Days of Shattered Fate. Now they are reading that, so I have to pick this up, and hopefully by next year I can catch up with them. I mean, if I like it, there is no question of if. Definitely I will be liking this book, but depending on how much I like it, I may continue with House of Open Wounds as well. That is book 2. Okay, next book on this list is recommended by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Recently, Maton Books invited Adrian Tchaikovsky to Sunday Pub on his channel, and he invited me also, and I got to talk with Adrian Tchaikovsky along with Pete and Kyle. And when we asked what books he recommends, he recommended this book, that is A Sword of Bronze and Ashes by Anna Smith Spark. Actually, he mentioned Anna Smith Spark a couple of times. She is a grimdark author. I am hearing about this author in booktube from past 2 years a lot, but grimdark is not usually my go-to subgenre. I mean, there are grimdark books I like. Example, KJ Parker. KJ Parker definitely writes morally grey characters, though action and violence part it is little less. There is violence, but he doesn't describe that violence in a graphic way. He just mentions it, and the focus will be shifted to how this character does it and how he moves on and what are the goals and all. The entire focus will be on that particular character, and he does morally grey characters and anti-heroes very well. Anyway, I may like grimdark book, depend on the execution. I am going to pick this up because of Adrian Tchaikovsky's recommendation. And the next on my list is To Ride Hell's Chasm by Johnny Words. Everyone is planning to read Johnny Words, what is that series name? Wars of Light. and Shadow. That is a 11 book series, but I want to start with something small. This is a standalone epic fantasy. It sounds like very adventurous epic fantasy. A princess is kidnapped and two guys, one commander and one captain, goes to search for her. I like that synopsis, and it is a standalone. Obviously, I am going to start with this. And the next book on this list is actually recommended by Janiverse. Just a couple of days back, I got to talk with Janiverse. I joined Nico's 2K celebration. So Jani is there. She recommended many books actually, like many female authors from 70s, 80s that time. I listed down everything, but I'm going to add one book from that list to my 25 books to read in 2025 list. That is Song of the Beast by Carol Berg. I had so much about this book, and this is on my long-term TBR. So because of Janiver's recommendation, I moved it up. And the next on my list is a book by my friend, that is Bloodstones by Tori Tekken. Actually, Tori and I have very similar taste, especially when it comes to things we don't like in books. One of the reasons we connected is also because of that, our complaints about one book. Let's not talk about that now. So I'm pretty sure I will like her book. Next two books are the series I am going to finish. Actually, I have like one book left in each series. That is Otherwind by Ursula K. Le Guin. This is the final book in Earthsea series. Right now, I am reading book 5, her short story collection from Earthsea, and I'll be reading Otherwind very early in January, and I'll be having a discussion with Philip, hopefully by the end of January. And the next book in my series to finish list is, I feel very ashamed to admit this, this is Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien. Yes, I did not finish reading Lord of the Rings, which is actually, I think in 2021, I think I started it. I loved Fellowship of the Ring, I loved Tudors, and this book also I started it. I think halfway through it, I paused it because of at that time I was participating in so many buddy reads. That's my first year in Booktuber. So I was super excited to get into all these read-alongs and all buddy reads. I was super excited to get into everything. So there were too many things, so I paused it because this one I was reading for myself. So this is high time I get back to this. I was loving actually Andy Serkis' audio narration, one of my favorite narrations ever. So I'm hoping to get back to this. And 11th book in my list, actually this may be the most surprising book in this list. This is Lord of Chaos by Robert Jordan. That is book 6 in Wheel of Time. I ranted about, I think, books 4 and 5. In 2023 I started the read along with my friends, and after book 5 I cannot deal with reading these 700 page books like every month. 700 page book every month is like too much. I was liking the book, some of the arcs. Matt is one of my favorite characters, but there are some scenes I was a little frustrated with, so I needed a break. But after 1.5 year break, I do want to go back to it. I still have those problems, especially when he describes this going into this dream world, and whenever they think about these guys, their dress changes. I was like, that is too silly. But still, Robert Jordan managed to create that kind of intrigue in me. I love the world. I want to go back to the world and see what these characters are doing. I like the intrigue behind this 13 Forsaken. I want to go back to see how these characters deal with that. Especially I want to go back to Matt. I don't know if I continue with the 7th book immediately, but at least this 6th book I'm planning to read in 2025. Next 3 books are actually gifts by my friends. I'm planning to do a vlog about these 3 books, like 3 books gifted to me by my friends, like 3 of their favorite books. So that is Soulless by Gail Carriger. I think this is a paranormal mystery, I think cozy mystery. I'm not exactly sure what it is about. So Sal bought this for my birthday. And the next one is Spearcuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. Everyone knows that this is Evie's favorite, so she sent that book to me. It's high time I read this book. And the next one is Bandit Queens by Parini Straw. Kat sent me this last year for Secret Santa. This is actually set in India, where this woman's husband runs away, or he disappeared. Everyone thinks that she killed him and maintains distance, but the problem started when rest of the women in her village comes to her for their problems with their partners, and they demands her help actually to get rid of their husbands. It is a funny take on that apparently. So next two books are actually, both of them are set in India and both of them are gifted to me by Evie, and I will be reading them with Evie. One is Devourers by Indradas. This is set in Kolkata. I think this has werewolves in them. That's all I know of this book, nothing else. This is recommended to us by Sal, I think 3 years back. Evie sent this to me in 2021, I think. It's high time we get to it. And the next book with Evie is Independence by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni. Evie and I read 2 books by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni so far, and we both loved her writing. So we are planning to continue her books. This book is set in 1947 during partition time. If you are not familiar with this, immediately after the independence in 1947, India and Pakistan got divided and became 2 countries. India became predominantly Hindu country and Pakistan became predominantly Muslim country. Most of the Muslims moved to Pakistan at that time. So this follows 3 sisters. I think they get separated during this division. I am very curious to see how Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni handles this. I read the synopsis. I think one of the sisters loves a Muslim boy. I think they will start their journey to Pakistan. I'm not sure. I think those three sisters get separated. That will be heartbreaking. Next 3 books are sci-fi. Only 3 in sci-fi. That is disappointing. I need to include more sci-fi. Anyway, next book is This Is How You Lose Time War by Amal El Mohtar and Max Gladstone. This is very popular book. I don't need to tell about this. I think this involves time travel and it involves 2 people who exchange letters through time travel, and each POV is covered by each other. That's all I know. This is a buddy read in March. I am not sure who is joining. This is a reread for Evie, and Sal, Alithia will be reading it. I'm not sure who else. And the next is Lot of Light by Robert Jalajny. I think this is both sci-fi and fantasy. Sci-fi because it is set in a different planet. Apparently Earth is long dead, and some of the men use this technology to become superhuman or immortal and declare themselves as gods or something like that. And this has actually gods from Hindu pantheon. That's why this is recommended to me. Robert Jalajny is a popular author, but I don't know how I'll feel about this. I am excited to read this. I want to see actually execution of this. And the next one is, oh my god, I am very ashamed of it. It is Return of the Griffin by J.C. M. Byrne, book 2 from Hybrid Helix series. I loved Wishful Ascending. That is one of my favorite books from 2023. I wanted to continue this since then, but it did not happen. And I started this actually this year during my India trip. I did not get time to read it, so I did not complete it. I have to restart it and hopefully continue the series. I have to continue the series. Next book on my list is actually, this is an Alan read. Will lead by Alan to include this book. This is Purple and Black by KJ Parker. This is Alan's favorite KJ Parker's book. So Alan recently found out that I did not read this, so he made me include this. I'm just joking. I love KJ Parker books. I am reading KJ Parker trilogies with Alan, Evie and Pete every year, and I read his standalones Company, Hammer and Folding Knife, and I like all of them. I did not read his collections yet. This is part of Academic Exercises collection. I'm not sure if I have bandwidth to include entire collection, but I'll definitely read Purple and Black for Alan. And the next one is And There Were None by Agatha Christie. I have 5 Little Pigs, and I started that multiple times, but at that time her writing was difficult for me. It's been so many years since I started reading in English. I did not try again after that, so I think it will not be difficult for me this time. Tori also has this book in her 25 books list, so we will be party reading this. And from here on, actually all serious books. Next on my list is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I haven't read American classics. I want to read this from long time. Next book is one of the most toughest books on my TBR. Toughest in terms of the topics it covers. That is My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. I want to read this from long time, but every time I want to pick it up, I did not dare, but I really want to read it. I am definitely going to pick this up. It explores the consent, victimhood, and agency, and I heard from many friends actually this is a very difficult book, at the same time fantastic exploration of those difficult topics, so I do want to read it. And the next book is also difficult book, but in a different way. That is Unwell Woman, Misdiagnosis and Myth in a Man-Made World by Eleanor Clegon. Actually, this author has autoimmune disease, and many people did not diagnose that. Actually, she struggled to get the diagnosis, so she talks about that and she explores how medicine failed women. Maybe before this I may read this other book, Invisible Woman, Data Bias in the Man-Made World. I may read that first and get to this, but I'll definitely read these two books. And the final book in my 25 books to read in 2025 is Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. I hope I pronounced it right. This follows 12 different characters, mostly black women from England who are from different backgrounds, who follows different career paths. I think some of them are interconnected, if I'm not wrong. Most of my friends like it. Angela from Literature Science Alliance liked it a lot, and I recently someone else talking about this. I think Bob the Booker. He does reviews of all these shortlist and long list prizes. He talked about it, and I really liked what he mentioned in from this book, so I added this to my TBR. So that's all from 2025. I have a good mix. I think I can get to at least 15 books from this list. I'm hoping to follow my TBR strictly for 2025. If there are any buddy reads, if there are read alongs I'm participating, those are as part of my TBR plans. Hopefully, I will not jump into any new exciting buddy reads my friends are doing. Maybe I may jump into like a romance read or palette cleanser here and there. That's all. So let's hope I stick to the plan. That's all. Let me know what you're planning to read in 2025 and what are your top priority things in comments. See you in the next video. Bye bye.